Hi everyone, I'm Sophie. I'm in the CS team here at Leapsome, and thank you so much for joining today. This session is going to be all about the Leapsome HRIS, so I'm really looking forward to showing you. And please feel free to share your name and where you're tuning in from in the chat, and we'll get going very soon with the demo. Talking of the chat as well, this is going to be the place for your questions and your comments today. So if you have any of those, please add them there. I won't be responding to them directly while presenting, but we have Chris with us in our team who is going to be keeping an eye on it. So you'll get an answer from Chris. So please don't hesitate to ask if there's anything, you'd like to say. Before we start the demo, I'm also going to take the chance to set the scene a little bit and briefly introduce Leapsome HRIS. So we're focusing on that part of the product. I'm going to tell you a bit more about who we are. So Leapsome's HRIS is designed to not only streamline and simplify your HR processes, but also automate repetitive tasks as much as possible for you to boost efficiency, but also ensuring that your employees' experience from the moment they join the company is spot on. So the systems in place really put employees at the center of its design and functionality. So it really allows for a lot of self-service experience in the HRIS, which we'll see as we jump into the demo. Things like requesting changes or tracking their own time or requesting absences. So let's have a look at what our HR focuses on. I'm going to share this screen with you. So this is what the product looks like. At its core, we're covering our essential needs: centralized employee data, absence management, payroll preparation, and document management, and so on. And as usual with the Leapsome platform, the HRIS has a modular approach. So it allows customization based on what you need. So this core HR part is kind of focusing on simplifying your admin tasks with workflows and things. But over here, we've thought ahead with some robust features. So we've got whistleblowing, compensation benchmarks, time tracking. So there's really solid support for all of your daily processes, and it's very scalable. And I think what sets Leapsome apart from other systems is our holistic approach. So beyond the HRIS, we can connect with our current powerful tools like instant feedback, Leapsome Academy, meetings into the system. So it's not just about managing tasks, but rather about encouraging growth, being user-friendly, and really integrating seamlessly with the existing Leapsome platform for a really unified experience. So this is our vision, to kind of focus on creating a really seamless experience that drives long-term success. And without further ado, let's jump into the platform. So I'm going to share this time my Leapsome screen. Perfect. Now I'm going to show you the HRIS feature by feature, just as we looked at from the admin perspective. And you'll also get a glimpse here of what it's like to actually use the platform as an employee, because the super admin Leslie, who we're working as, she's also an employee. So let's start with centralized employee data. How does this work? And maybe you've experienced that kind of keeping employee data accurate, secure, easy to access can be quite a challenge, especially as your team grows. And of course, on top of that, there's this constant balancing act of minimizing manual work for HR, but also keeping everything running smoothly. And here's how Leapsome solves this. All of your employee data will be centralized into one profile per employee. So it gives you a complete view of everything in one place. Right now, we're working as this admin, but we can also see our next meetings that are coming up, our learning paths, our goals, all essential info really easily accessible without looking through kind of spreadsheets and emails. And if we jump into the info tab, we can see all of our attributes are neatly organized into these sections. So if we click on a section, we are taken to the attributes. And this is, again, the admin view, and we can see a lot of attributes. But for users, this list will be even more decluttered. So you might see 5 or 6 sections here. And if I want to edit one of these attributes, I can use this icon down here. And let's say I want to update my email address. I can apply this change either immediately or with a handy scheduled changes feature. So as an admin, maybe I want to make a salary adjustment for someone starting in 1 month's time, or update their manager in starting from a month's time. And I can update this and let Leapsome take care of the rest. Now, we also know that every company is different, and you can create as many custom attributes as you need. For example, you might want to store data on your t-shirt size for your company merch, or store the languages spoken for your multinational team. So everything stays really GDPR compliant and data is very secure here. Now, talking of data privacy, I'm sure you're thinking, wait, Sophie, we only want certain folks accessing and editing certain data, right? So for example, employees, yes, they should be able to update their own address, but not their salary. And for that, we have something called access roles that you can set up, so custom access roles. And these help you decide exactly who can view or edit each field based on role. So we already have some default system one set up, admin, super admin, payroll admin, but you can set as many of these as you need, and then you would just assign the right people to them. And then later on, when we go into the profile fields and access, this is essentially the back end of what we were just looking at. You can then jump into each attribute and decide who exactly should be able to view and edit this attribute. So we have read access here, and we can choose from our list of access roles, and we have write access for the editing. Now, why is this great? Well, it protects sensitive data, sensitive information, but also giving employees the autonomy to manage their own basic details where it makes sense. And for added security, you can also add an approval step here for certain changes. So, for example, the manager or an HR manager can approve some of these changes. So overall, the centralized employee data is very self-service, cuts down a lot of workload for HR, and reduces back and forth, and really improves data accuracy as well. But it's also user-friendly enough to empower employees when it comes to managing their own data. Now, we have all this data in the system, and luckily we have our dashboards and reporting to actually look at it and zoom in on it. So if you've ever struggled with clunky, limited HR reports, then you're not alone. And that's why we built our dashboards section to be customizable, really beautifully visual and easy to share. So as a super admin, you'll see this analytics tab, and this is where all of your data across Leapsome's modules comes together. But the best part is in the dashboard section, we have some templates that you can use to create your own dashboards from and customize each widget. So let's jump into the demographics one. You can build reports here on anything from headcount to growth and attrition to DEI metrics. This one is managers split by age groups, and you can customize each widget, and it's all powered by the data from your HRIS. You can also decide how it's visualized. So should it be a table, a pie chart, a line chart? And because of our advanced filters up here, you can also zoom in on time frame or particular departments and really take a look at exactly what you need. Now, you're also in control of who sees what by making visibility groups. So if we edit this, we can create new visibility groups. And this means that whether it's your leadership team or the whole organization that needs to see something, you can tailor this access accordingly, and also export the dashboard or export each widget even into an image or an Excel and share the dashboard directly in the platform. So this is all of your data summarized, visualized, and shareable. And that's dashboards in Leapsome. We also have templated ones here for your absence management and payroll as well. Now, we've seen how easy reporting is. Let's take a look at managing repetitive HR tasks with workflows. So here, this focuses on kind of onboarding, offboarding, those routine employee updates. And this can be a challenge because sometimes we maybe miss important steps or spend hours chasing details. So if that sounds familiar, the workflow builder in Leapsome is going to be perfect for you. So let's find it, workflows. So there is no limit to how many workflows you can create. You can build exactly what it is your team needs, and they can be really flexible. Let's jump into the onboarding one and take a look at the steps. So each workflow is going to start with a trigger. Now, this can be a specific date. In this case, it's onboarding, so we're going to use start date, but it can also be termination date. It can also be an event, manual enrollment, and so on. Then we're going to select our dates. And then we choose who is the target group for this workflow. Then when we jump into the steps here, this is the fun part, we can customize this however we like. We can send notifications to managers or teams that they're having a new joiner starting. We can assign checklists to IT to set up equipment. We can also collect important files, documents, contracts, feedback forms, get all of these signed. And even when a user starts, we can enroll them onto a training course from the Leapsome Academy or a more personalized training course about your company processes. So what happens when this workflow is triggered is employees and managers are automatically notified for any actions that they are responsible for or need to do. And this way, no one is left wondering what's next, and you don't have to chase anyone for updates. Now let's have a look at some kind of inspiration for some of these workflows. We've got onboarding, that's an obvious use case. Offboarding, maybe we would need reminders to make sure people return their laptop, gathering feedback when someone leaves, or handling documents. Some customers I know use things, alerts for when people's visas are expiring or their birthday is coming up or it's the end of their probation. So the possibilities are endless here. And the reminders notify relevant team members to ensure that actions are taken at the right time. Now, each workflow also has a nice dashboard when it gets going. So we can see here which participants are in the workflow, where they are. You can track average completion times as well and make any adjustments like re-enrolling people, nudging someone, cancelling a step if that's needed. So this ensures nothing falls through the cracks and no critical details are missed. Okay, so yeah, workflows. This is our streamlined automated system that reduces manual tasks and keeps all stakeholders in the loop. Next up, we are going to jump into the absence module. Now, very important part of any HRIS, managing absences, and it's important for employees as well. We know they value their time off and they want this to be seamless and user-friendly. So employees can request time off really quickly in this calendar view. They can just highlight the dates that they want to take off, select the appropriate policy, so we're going to use the vacation one. They can see their remaining balance instantly as well, comment if that's necessary, and add a document if that's necessary for sick leave as well. And then you save, submit, and that's the process done. It's super clear, super self-servicing for employees, and there's full transparency over leave balances, fewer back and forths. Now, from the manager's perspective, they may then get an approval notification on their dashboard to approve the absence request. And this is also super easy. You click in it, you can also see which team members are absent during that time. So you have better visibility and control over team schedules. And that's all managers need to do. And then from the HR perspective, the kind of, admin perspective, I'll jump into that briefly as well around the absence policy. So they'll need to create and manage policies, set up some holiday calendars for public holidays, and set up work schedules, and then assign these to the right people. So let's quickly jump into one of those. Let's look at the German vacation one. What we'll do is work through this series of tabs to set this up. Starting with the kind of basics, so our half days allowed, our certificates required, things like that. Then in the visibility tab, we can define who can see which types of absence in the calendar. So this is also based on our access roles from earlier. And then we've got entitlement of this particular policy. So what are the allocated days? When does it start, let's say? We can decide if this is a long-term, a long leave policy. We can add proration here. And these calculations are automatic. And then we have some advanced features like carryovers or even tenure, tenure-based features. So for your long-standing employees, maybe their balance is increased 1 day for every 2 years or something like that. And we can add this in here as well. So what you can see is that we really offer you all the flexibility to customize the policy exactly how you need. So you can decide what's best for your organization and work from there. And then all we need to do is go to our employee list and assign the policy. So we would essentially bulk select who we need to assign it to, jump into the policy type that we want to assign. And we're going to choose paid vacation, and then we add the policy. So if you need several for different locations, you can cover this as well and really easily assign it to the right employees with a combination of the holiday calendar and the working schedule. Okay, let's next jump into document management. So it's actually one of my favorite modules. Leapsome makes it really easy to manage both public and non-public documents. So public documents being things that everyone should see. So these are kept in the company section, company documents. So think things like company policies, general guidelines. I have one customer that actually adds role cards here. So role descriptions to be really transparent on job responsibilities. And we also cover non-public documents like contracts or salary adjustment letters, and these need to be handled with a bit more care. So you have full control over who sees these more sensitive documents and ensuring that information stays private where it needs to be. So let's jump into the settings, and we have a whole section here for documents. And Leapsome helps you to work really smart here. We start here with some pre-uploaded templates, so an offer letter for a new joiner or a salary adjustment letter. And if you already have some communication that you like to use, you can upload it straight to Leapsome. And we also help you customize fields within these letters. So candidate name, job title, start date, salary. We use placeholders within each letter that can then pull that information directly from the HRIS into the letter automatically. So let's imagine we've uploaded our offer letter and now we want to generate a document for a new joiner. What we'll do is select our template, give our document a name, and then we're going to assign it to our new joiner. Let's use Simon. Now, the HRIS has already pulled through some of the data that's in Simon's profile. We also connect with many ATS systems, so sometimes this information can be created or pulled in through the ATS integration. And we can see these details already. And what's really cool is Leapsome flags to you if there is something missing. So here, what's missing? If we scroll across, right, we can see that we need to add a few details. So let's jump in and do that. Great. And then we can update the values, and this is complete. We add our signatures, so who should be signing this, the candidate and the head of people, and then we can generate the document. Now, this is then sent to Simon and the head of people for their signature. It will turn up on their dashboard, and then just a few clicks, it's signed and stored. Once the document is signed, it's automatically stored on the employee's profile in this documents section here. And for admins, you can see all documents and kind of have an overview of where they are in this section here. So you can understand kind of what's the status of the document, who's involved. You can filter as well by different types, different signatories, and so on. So this creates a really centralized, easy to access place for admins, but also employees on their own profile to find their documents, and there's no more scrambling to find files. So to recap, we have document templates. Leapsome streamlines these repetitive processes, and we can also do it in bulk, by the way, so we can send 20 letters at once if you need to. Okay, we're going to jump into payroll as the final module. Now, with our payroll module, you can define payroll policies, you can assign them to employees and automate your payroll cycles, customizing everything from the pay frequency to the approval deadline. So let's jump into this active one. Again, we're going to work through these tabs. So we can set our timing, we can decide how the proration works, we can define then the personal info, so salary information or the personal info which needs to be pulled into this policy. Salary and absences. And then when it's time to run payroll, Leapsome will pull that latest employee data, your salaries, your absences, your bonuses, even custom fields as well, like health insurance or deductions. And you can review all of that in a dashboard like this and edit anything directly. So what's really cool within this is the way that we help you to minimize errors by highlighting changes. So you can see here, anything that's wrong is shown up to you in yellow, and if you find a blue one, this means something that changed from the last cycle. And you can make these updates really quickly because you can see them. And once you're happy, you can then export this to Excel for your payroll provider, or you can connect to tools like Datev in Germany for direct submission. Now you can also upload past payslips and bulk import compensation changes. So yeah, that completes the demo for today. Thanks so much for joining, everyone. It was a pleasure to share the HRIS with you on that whistle-stop tour. And I hope that you found it useful and inspiring. Thank you for all your questions. And our team would love to dive deeper with the demo sessions and explore how Leapsome can support your day-to-day challenges. So please book a demo in our Leapsome website, or even give us a sign in the chat now if you would like to. So enjoy the rest.